Hey, what's going on everyone? It's GBall. Today we're taking a look at some knives that I think are flying under the radar for one reason or another, and I think they are worth taking a look at. Now, if you've never stopped by here before, welcome to GBall Vision. If you have an EDC for today, let me know what it's looking like down in the comments. We're going to kick it off with the CJRB Feldspar. Now, some of these knives will have a little story time with them. This knife here was initially released in 4 different versions on a Kickstarter, and for whatever reason, knives that have a Kickstarter tend to have a really soft landing when they finally release, and for whatever reason that tends to happen. But I think this is a knife that should not be overlooked. I think it brings quite a bit of value to the table. You are looking at $215 for this version here. They do make one in copper for $150, and then they have some that are much more expensive with Damascus inlays, and then Damascus inlays and hardware. So those are going to go above $500, so a fair bit for them. But for this one at $215, you are looking at the S90V still, done 60 to 62 HRC. They do a great job with it. I think they are one of the best buys when it comes to S90V edge retention. Artisan and CJRB have just had it dialed in over the last couple of years. Nice drop point blade shape, dual thumb studs. It is going to be a contoured titanium handle, and it has a nice micro texture to it. Titanium clip, it's left hand friendly, and they have a lanyard hole there. And the cherry on top is the button top liner lock. All the CJRB and Artisans I have had in, they have all been very solid, no issues so far, and I don't expect any issues from Artisan. They tend to do a very good job in that department. So you're going to get solid lockup. You have a good detent, smooth action. So not only is this a very versatile EDC, but I think it would be, like I say with some knives, a really good experience also. Now, for whatever reason, I feel like this knife has been severely overlooked, and it could be because Vastid had a ton of these made. I don't know that to be a fact, but the Vastid Xander here, I feel like it's been heavily overlooked since the initial release. These come in at $169, and this knife here again, I think is another awesome experience. Not only is it a great folding knife design, great blade shape, versatile. The steel in S35 is going to be well rounded, about 3.5 inches of blade, so really good size. Textured aluminum handles, and then you do have recessed steel liners in there that make up the lock as well. Deep carry clip. It isn't going to be left hand friendly in this case, but we do have a lanyard hole there for those couple of lanyard fans. But the main draw to this knife, and an experience that I think every knife enthusiast, knife collector, mechanism lover, like whatever it is, I think this is a knife worth trying out, or a lock worth trying out, I should say. The Vanker lock, in my opinion, is a top 3. You have a fantastic detent, a very durable and dependable locking system so far in all my testing and experiences. The Vanker lock is very solid. You have multiple deployments here, cutout studs, front and rear flipper. I mean, what more could you ask for? Nice choke up place there right behind the edge. Just a solid knife. Vastid definitely knows how to put it down, and they have created one of my favorite locks, and I think it is worth trying for everyone out there. Pick a design that you like featuring the Vanker lock, give it a shot. Sometimes knives tend to get overlooked that come out and they sell out of a couple of the different versions that release, and then they kind of just get pushed off to the side because you can't get them anymore. And I think that happened with the Yakuza. This is the middle price point version. They have some that are more expensive and then some that are less expensive. These come in at $168. Cuto does a phenomenal job when it comes to the quality and the machining of these knives, and this one here is going to be a great representation of that. There's like 8 or 9 different versions at this point. They didn't initially release with that many, but at this point there's like 8 or 9 different ones. You're looking at 3.4 inches of 154 cm, a cutout fuller combo along with studs and a front flipper. This one has the blue carbon fiber, but they make them in a couple different versions of carbon fiber. And then you can get them with a satin blade like this or a coated blade, whichever you prefer. Then you have a nice full-length backspacer made out of titanium, a titanium pocket clip, and that is going to be left-hand friendly. They include a filler tab here to keep everything nice and clean. This is supposed to represent like a revolver, I believe it was, and I think it is executed perfectly. A great representation. The design is awesome. It's not going to be for everyone. Nothing is. But I think this is an awesome design. Cuto absolutely slays the production of these knives. You do have great access to that liner lock. It's chamfered and it is jimped. Excellent execution, recess, so it keeps everything nice and clean. Just a beautiful looking design. Story for this one's going to be basically the fact that Allatins is a smaller company, a newer company. Now, they've been around for a little bit and they've put out some awesome stuff. Their stuff is just going to naturally get overlooked because they don't have the push that some of these other bigger companies do. But I think in time, they are going to make one hell of a name for themselves. The Allatins Thai Mastiff here, the TO74, these are going to retail at $168, and they just go a step ahead or a step above every time. We are looking at 2.4 inches of M390, and then this has a step milled stonewash sheep's foot blade. I think it looks absolutely stunning. I love the milling. How does that affect sharpening and all that sort of stuff? I don't know. I'm not an expert in that regard. I just know I love the way that it looks. It doesn't affect the cutting initially, so I do know that. I've had a couple milled blades from American Blade Works, Concept, Tenable, and now this one here. They seem to be fine. Over an extended period, would you want to sharpen this 500 times in a couple of weeks? Probably not. Something you're going to want to be mindful of. Otherwise, I think this is a cool design and it has some great materials. You do have the dual titanium thumb studs, collars, and pocket clip, along with the clamshell titanium handles. Makes this a really solid fifth pocket utility knife, and that is exactly where it sits for me. I can get a nice full squeezed grip on the handle. You still have plenty of edge there to do most basic things, and it doesn't weigh a lot, but it still has a hefty feel because of that titanium. So really solid utility fifth pocket knife that's going to land in that middle price point. Here we have one coming in from Offgrid. This is the Rhino Elite. It is a Bestech OEM, and they're going to come in at $289. It makes this list because Offgrid is a smaller company similar to Allatins, and they just don't have the push of some of these bigger companies, but I think they deserve a seat at the table. They offer a lifetime warranty. They are based here in the United States, and I just think they're an awesome company, good group of people, and they make an awesome product. We are going to be looking at MagnaCut, ran 62 to 63 HRC. You do have jimping all the way down the spine there, dual thumb studs, and a rear flipper for the deployment. This is actually the first dual deployment knife Offgrid has put out in the premium side, and the thumb stud addition to this knife is an absolute game changer. It is an absolute monster. We are looking at titanium handles, backspacer, and the best deep carry titanium clip in the game. It is a tri-Torx. It is going to be left-hand friendly, and they do include a filler tab there that keeps everything nice and clean. That is 4 inches of the MagnaCut, 9 1/4 overall, so not a small knife by any stretch. But if you like a larger folder, a little bit more premium side, this is an excellent option. Here's one that I've been waiting to talk about for several weeks now, maybe even several months. I think it's more like several months at this point. Tacray released the Talos, and they almost sold out within a few days, I think it was, this particular version. Now, there are 3 different versions. There's one in micarta, and I think there's 2 in G10. Now, I can't guarantee the micarta is going to be in stock when you're seeing this video because this isn't scheduled till way later in the week. So I don't know if this particular one is going to be in stock, but there will be other versions in stock. So there will be at least one semblance of this knife available. They're going to retail at $120. It's got this 5-layer copper steel blade. I think it looks awesome. Here again, this isn't going to be a premium super slicer, super steel type of knife. This is more for the aesthetics. Will it cut? Will you still be able to sharpen it? All that type of stuff. Yeah, this knife is going to perform just fine. I think it's a VG10 base, so it's going to perform just fine. My point is, this isn't going to be a super steel, super slicer. This is an EDC knife that you can use day to day and maintain it, you know, like a normal knife with a strop here and there, sharpen it once in a while. A knife you're not gonna wanna test out sharpening 500 times, you know, in 1 week and seeing how it handles that. That's not this type of knife. Dual thumb studs for the deployment. And one of the other main draws to this beautiful knife is the integral handle. It is a micarta integral. The G10 is going to be a G10 integral. You have a really nice deep carry clip there, and that is going to be left-hand friendly, making this completely ambidextrous. The crossbar lock is phenomenal. They always do a great job with their crossbar locks. Pretty much all their knives are crossbar locks, and you can tell they pay attention very nicely there. Good strong springs, smooth close, nice placement on the studs, and they're not fatiguing on the thumb. Just an excellent little utility knife that has a little bit of flair with that 5-layer copper blade. This is one I won't be able to get enough love to, but I'm going to try at least. This is the Vizino Caveman EDC collaboration, the Bronto. They have a version here that's going to come in at $242, and then I think the crystallized titanium version is $250, so only an $8 difference between the two. You have the straight titanium one here, and then the other one has a crystallized titanium onlay instead of the titanium, regular titanium. You are looking at M390 for the blade steel, 59 to 61 HRC, dual thumb studs for the deployment. I'm a big fan of this design right here. I really like the blade shape. It's not something you get to see every day. Very usable secondary edge, a pokey tip. Not extremely pokey, but you'll still be able to poke and pierce. You can use that belly, this straight edge. You can use this secondary tip here. It's just an awesome blade shape, in my opinion. I love the stacked titanium handle with the bolster look, a little bit different finish. I think it looks really clean. The only thing I would add to this knife that's not here is a full-length backspacer if it's possible. I don't know if it could have fit into the design or not, but if it could have, I would have loved to have seen a longer backspacer. But other than that, I think this knife is executed perfectly. I love the attention to detail here, going over the lock with the onlay and keeping the access to the lock bar very slim on the outside, but full access on the inside that is chamfered. The detent feels very good. This thing feels like it is gliding on glass. They really pay attention to detail over there at Vizino, and I can't wait to see what they bring to us in the future. This knife has to make the list. It is a knife I have been carrying nonstop since I pulled it out of the box. It is the Remet Steed, and they had an initial release on this knife and they completely sold out. But they have restocked the knife over on their website, and they're going to range in price from $275 up to $290, I think it is. But you probably should act fast, because I don't know how long they're actually going to last on their website. Here again, they sold out the first time almost instantly, and I think they're going to sell out pretty quickly here on the second release. They are going to be coming in M390. You have these elongated thumb studs. I absolutely love them. They're very comfortable. They fit my hand beautifully. You have a nice long area here to just rest your entire thumb. You have a little bit of stepping there, and it works beautifully. And same for the reverse flick. It actually works really, really well. And I love the drop point. The DLC is epic. And then a titanium handle with a carbon fiber inlay, full length titanium backspacer. That just, starts to seal the deal for me on an excellent design, excellent lock, execution, detail. You throw that full length backspacer and then you chamfer both sides, raise it up a little bit. I mean, oh man, this thing is comfortable as all hell. You have a little 50-50 area here you can generally choke up in. I wouldn't consider it a finger choil. Don't choke up there and cut the hell out of yourself. But you could creep up in there and get closer to that edge if need be. Use it to climb up on the tip there, do a little bit of detail work. Just a very comfortable knife. I have been carrying this non-stop. It actually took over the place of my Remet Scepter, which took me a while to get out of my pocket. But finally, I was able to accomplish that with this particular knife. The Remet Steed, no wonder it is so popular. It is just a brilliant execution. Button frame lock, I didn't even say, I don't think. But you can disengage it with the frame itself. It's chamfered. Excellent execution, exactly what you would want with just a frame lock. But then you have the button as well. That is textured. It's recessed there, a little pivot collar. I love it. That's all I can say. Now, this one is going to have an asterisk next to it, because at this point, we don't really know what's going on. There is a shipping issue. Some got through and some didn't. The ones that were going to certain retailers got through. The ones that Vastid were supposed to get didn't make it through yet. So we don't know what's going on. The knife may never release. So this one is going to have an asterisk next to it. It is the Thunderbird from Vastid. Hopefully they make it stateside and can get available. But we don't know. $259, I think, across the board. They have titanium, carbon fiber. That price may vary from model to model, but I don't think they're going to vary very much. Maybe $20, like $250 to $270, depending on, carbon fiber, titanium. I think that's what it's going to be. We are looking at 3.5 inches of M390. This one has a satin finish. They have some with a coated finish as well. I don't know if it's DLC or not, but they both look really good in my opinion. You have a fuller cutout for deployment, and then you are looking at front and rear flippers. Carbon fiber on this particular one, titanium backspacer and pocket clip. Really, really nice looking knife. And I said in the unboxing, I wasn't so sure about this knife because I don't know. I didn't know if I'd like it or not. I've always liked the Vankerlock. I just wasn't sure if I'd like it in this combination, and I was pleasantly surprised. So hopefully they can release all the versions that they have. There's like 7 of them, and I think people really want to get their hands on them. So hopefully at some point when you're seeing this knife, maybe they'll be available. They probably won't be available for very long. It is a limited edition. I think it's the 4-year anniversary knife for Vastid. The Vankerlock, as I said earlier in this video, I think, or maybe that was a different video. As I have said many times, the Vankerlock is one of my top 3 favorite locking mechanisms in folding knives. I just adore the locking system. Great detent, solid lockup, fun disengagement. I mean, what's not to love about it? Multiple deployments included, titanium, carbon fiber. A little bit more expensive, but it is a limited edition. I will have links to all the knives down in the description. Even this knife here that's sold out, I'll have a link to it. That way you can hopefully check on and off, and maybe they will be in stock someday. I'll try to do an update, or I'll release the unboxing on that day. Maybe you can get your hands on one. You'll have to subscribe and ring the bell. That way you don't miss any of my new and upcoming videos. Let me know what your favorite knife was down in the comments. I always look forward to hearing from you. Do me a solid and hit that thumbs up button. And if you never want to miss another video again, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. I'd love to have you here. I'll pop up a couple of new videos on your screen you haven't seen yet. Go check one of them out for me. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.